Going into Los Al, it was my third high school in the span of a year that I would have been going to. I didn't really expect anything. More work, more stuff, more stress, more tired.
At this time, Hunter is almost like a selected mute. He doesn't talk and didn't talk. And in the entire interview that we met with him, he really didn't talk at all. He was a junior, but he was over a year and a half behind. So really he had the credits of like a first semester freshman.
He came to us not in a great position. He has been through a lot more than most kids should have to go through.
It took about, I want to say like 2 to 3 weeks to get Hunter to even get out of the car and come on campus.
There were a few times when he would come up missing and we would have campus supervisors looking for him, and he was hiding in the bathroom in tears.
He was emotional to a point where we weren't in a place to even start that, because how do you ask someone who's sitting there crying to take out his history textbook?
When it comes to things that my brain doesn't deem important, I tend to have a low attention span. I forget a lot of things, so that it just got stressful. I couldn't wait to get home.
We were trying anything to get him connected, and what we found was he loved movies. The light bulb went off and I was like, we need to connect him to Mr. Brown's production class.
I'm told that there's a film class and that I would probably like it. You know, I thought to myself, film class, sounds good on paper, but this is school we're talking about. There's gonna be some way they're gonna mess this up.
I met Hunter. He came in at lunch and kind of gave him a tour of the room and showed him all the fun cameras we have and all the cool equipment we have, and was just really trying to get a feel for him and what was he about and what did he like. And I got nothing. I mean, he just wouldn't say anything, no matter what I talked about. It was just very, a lot of small grunts. I noticed he was wearing a Star Wars shirt, and I was like, I can start there. So I just decided to just talk and continue talking until he would finally say something. And I probably talked for 25 minutes straight. Eventually, when I see him kind of piquing his interest, I ask him a question, and he actually answered. He was kind of giving me small answers, maybe 1 words, maybe 2. Before we knew it, lunch had ended. I kind of made a judgment call to be like, it's okay. You're gonna stay here and we're gonna continue talking and we're gonna build this bond, we're gonna build this relationship, because I feel like that was valuable. I feel like having that interaction with him, having that moment where he was actually engaging with me and we were having a one-on-one conversation was important. And you know, we talked for the entirety of 5th period too. By the end of our conversation, he was asking me questions. He was starting to ask about me and what I thought, and we started to really get to a deeper level of conversation. And it took an hour and a half to get there, but I was really happy with where we ended off, and I think like a week later, he was enrolled in my class.
That alone, significantly less stressed out with that change.
The minute he got in Connor's class, it opened up something. It like unlocked him. And so then he would start to talk to me about how cool that class was. And he would start to talk to me about how much he loved Mrs. Cowan and, you know, other things about the school that he loved.
When Hunter joined my class, I was really excited, but I knew it would still be a bit of a challenge. He would still very much sit by himself and not talk to any of his peers. As the school year went, I tried different pairings for group projects, and I paired him with 2 kids who I thought he'd really get along with. And you know, he'd come to my class almost every day for lunch, but all of a sudden, like a week went by and I hadn't seen him once at lunch. But I walked outside my classroom and he was sitting and eating lunch with the 2 students that I had paired him with. And they became friends. They ate lunch every day together. They talked every day, and to me, that was the moment where I was like, wow, if I can help a student make 1 friend, that's all I could ever ask for.
I made a few friends, and I think that has to do with the fact that it's in, you know, an environment with people who also enjoy film. With that and my other classes getting changed, the stress levels went down significantly. And I was kind of not dreading going to school anymore. My mindset changed when it came to coming to school.
He was on a non-diploma track, and That's where you get like a certificate. But I was like, I gotta figure out how to help this kid, because I'm like, there's no way that this kid should get a diploma. And so I really fought. Like, I think he's capable. And so kind of making him believe he could do it.
I could either just do the rest of the year, finish that up, and then I would get a certificate of completion, or I could go all the way, do extra work, and then I could graduate and get the diploma. I figured I might as well go all the way, and so I went for that latter option. I wasn't terribly confident if I was going to complete it.
We mapped out a calendar, and I was like, okay, if you do this every day, then you will get, you'll only need 5 credits left by summertime.
With the help of Miss Cowan and Miss D'Ambrosio, it went even better than I would have ever thought it would have.
He started to work through a little bit harder, a little bit further. And then by the end, he would surprise me, and at the end of the period, tell me, hey, I finished, I did finish that packet, where I was like, wait a second, we were gonna take 2 more days to finish that. This is like a turning point. This is where he is finding that confidence, and he didn't like history, and never did he like school, but he got to a point where I think he liked that feeling of being successful, and you could see it on his face. Every time he'd finish something, he would get excited, going into whatever the next task was.
He started to get a little bit more serious. He started to read more. Then he started to mention projects in his other classes. Oh, Mrs. Riegert told me that I had to do this project, and I'm thinking about doing this. Towards the end of the year, when he was really working hard to finish his classes, he was like, Miss Ford-Patterson, I'm not going to be in the counseling office. Well, why? I'm going to Mrs. Cowan's class to finish my work, or I'm staying after school to finish my work, or I'm coming in before school to finish my work. Because at this point, I don't even think it was us anymore. It was him. So he had that internal drive that was like pushing him to the finish line.
I nominated him for an award at Senior Awards Night, and just like having him invite his dad and walk up on stage, like that was huge for him, and I was so proud of him.
He came dressed up. He was so excited. He sat with his team of people, and he received an award.
And I was so proud of him. And just to see that kid that did not speak, that did not look at adults, on stage getting the accolades that he deserved was like the best moment for me ever. It was like so rewarding.
I was a little bummed he didn't want to go to graduation, but I understood it. Obviously, we had to have like a little ceremony. So through that together, and just having everyone there and cheering him on, and for him to give me a hug like on his own will was a really big deal.
Starting off with the whole thing, I had virtually zero faith in myself. I really did not think I was going to be able to do this. And then when I did, I just was so accomplished. Like I did it, and I never thought I would.
Watching him earn that diploma reminded me of how important those connections are with my students, and I'm really grateful.
My plan moving forward, I would like to start working at Barnes & Noble. I love books, I love that store. I think that would be fun to do. And then after that, I've decided that I want to go to film school.
That thought process of a student who never really cared for school at all, couldn't wait to go home every day, and now he's asking me about, well, what do you think about me going to college? What do you think about me going to film school? And to me, I was kind of blown away. I never really expected him to have that conversation with me.
My ultimate dream is to write and direct films. And I gotta say, I think that Los Al and all the people here have definitely helped me get closer to that goal.
He has that confidence in himself now to say, I want to go to college, and I can go to college, and I'm going to pursue something that I love and go for that goal that I have and that dream that I have. So I'm very proud of him, and I really wish him the best as he continues that journey, that education into the future. And I hope to one day see his name in the credits of whatever movie he's working on.
The trajectory of his life will be forever changed because of the experience he had at Los High School. It literally takes a village.
Even though it took a long time, I think he really did believe that we believed in him. And so that was huge, and he started believing in himself.
He has lifelong friends now, and I think that is really telling to what we are here at Los Al, that we are so big on student connection and making students feel like this is more than just a school for them.
Those 5 minutes a day that he and I would spend chit-chatting were really powerful for both of us.
I'm just so proud of him, and like just seeing him grow as a person has been a really rewarding experience. He definitely made me a better person. I'm really grateful to have known him.
If I was ever given the opportunity to, you know, go back, speak to my past self, I simply would have just said, don't worry. And I'm pretty sure I would have gotten the message. I think I would have.